there is no shame in drinking tea by yourself. In this video, we're going to be brewing several teas that we've just recently added to our collection. These are teas that are brand new to us here at the tea house. I haven't had any coffee today, and I will be brewing multiple teas. So let's get into it. First off, we're going to start off with this little magic pack of Yu Ling. Now this Yu Ling is from the Li Shan mountain range, and it comes to us from a 4th generation tea farmer that's known for ultra high quality tea. And so here's one of my favorite clay teapots. I am going to be brewing the High Mountain Green Oolong in this pot today. This is a pot that I got from a teapot master in Taiwan. I'm going to start off by heating the teapot and heating the teaware. I do this just by pouring hot water into the empty teapot. Next, I'm going to portion out some loose leaf, tightly rolled High Mountain Green Oolong. Now, Li Shan or Yu Ling, this tea comes from about 2,200 to 2,600 meters in elevation. And what that means is the tea plant has to pull from its inner resources to produce the new leaf, which is the part of the tea that is picked, the new growth. So because of that, especially more cold air, more extreme conditions at the high elevation, the tea plant has to struggle more to produce that new leaf. And what that means is that you're going to have a tea that has a slightly thicker leaf, and it will have just basically a different character altogether than a tea that is grown at a lower elevation. Now, a lot of people tend to think that high mountain tea is better. And I hesitate to say that because there are teas that are expertly grown and produced at lower elevation that are extremely high quality. And it's not necessarily that higher elevation is better tea. That's just one of the variables that goes into producing a high quality tea, in this case, a high mountain oolong tea. But it doesn't have to be high mountain to be high quality. And it is a really high quality clay. There is no internal screen, so you will need some sort of poker device like so. I use this to unclog the spout when we get some leaf cloggage there. This pot is really fun to use. A clay pot like this, generally we dedicate to one style of tea because it will develop a memory. It will brew, it will absorb some of the flavor of the tea. It's very porous. And so these type of pots, I recommend more to people that have decided what specific type of tea they're going to be brewing, because it is an investment, and then you can then dedicate this type of pot to that one specific category of tea. Now, people that like this tea, one of the reasons they really like it is because this tea exhibits both the boom and the ping. Now, what do I mean by the boom and the ping? Well, the boom is like the heavy resonance. If you think of that sound of boom, it just takes up a lot of space. It's deep, it's resonous. Now, the ping is also significant because if you think of that sound, ping, that high vibration and that high note delivers a sensation that is equally potent and powerful as the boom, but it's on a different frequency. When a tea exhibits both boom and ping, that is one of the things that people really like about this tea. It just makes you feel there's a transformation happening on multiple levels. So let's get into the aroma of this tea. And that's one of the things that's so far really impressed me about this tea. It's just so enjoyable, so delicious. I mean, it's like fruit, flowers, candy, earth. There's so much going on, and there's so much pleasurable enjoyment that takes place when you smell the residual scent that's left behind from a tea like this. And it changes as it cools, so it's amazing. It's long lasting, it's still going. And unfortunately, there is no way to bottle this scent. You could bottle aspects of it, but it would stay and it wouldn't be the ethereal scent that you have that's the ever-evolving scent of the tea. Just outrageously amazing. You know, we use our senses to evaluate tea. We use our eyes, our nose, our mouth. So when I've only steeped this tea one time so far. When I put the leaf in here, I just barely covered the bottom, maybe a little layer of tea on the bottom here. And now it's expanded to fill the whole teapot. Now this is good to go for 6 to 10 infusions, relatively short infusions, and we're going to steep it over and over again with the hot water. If you notice how much that leaf expanded, that is why it's not suitable for one of those tea balls or a pinchy thing that compresses the tea. You can weigh the tea if you want to be really get to know how much volume you're using, because this tea is pretty dense. So for like 5 grams, which is a good amount of tea that I recommend starting with when you're brewing tea like this, that would be about the equivalent of a heaping teaspoon. 3 grams would be about a level teaspoon. And with 3 grams, you could steep that tea about 2 to 3 times. With the amount I use, which is closer to 10 grams, you can steep the tea, like I said, 6 to 10 times. So in this way, it becomes more of a tea drinking session where you're going to be steeping the tea over and over and enjoying the tea for at least an hour with your friends or by yourself. And there is no shame in drinking tea by yourself. So for tea like this, even though it is a green oolong, since it's a High Mountain Green Oolong from Taiwan and it's expertly produced, I do prefer using water right off the boil, but then having a relatively short steep time of about 30 seconds to a minute, generally not exceeding a minute. Now that we've had some of that High Mountain Green Oolong energy, let's shift our energy to something darker and richer. This is the Ruby Black. Here I have 6 grams of very fluffy, amazing, organically grown, super high quality black tea that is like no other. So this tea is also known as Ruby 18, one of the famous cultivars from Taiwan. And we did do a video exclusively on this cultivar, and I'll put a link to that video down below. Wow, that is so fruity. One of the reasons I love this tea, it's multidimensional. It does have a kind of a crisp, clean, minty feeling on the mouth. And keep in mind, this cultivar is a hybrid of wild grown Taiwanese tea and Assam. The smoothness, richness, and sweetness of this tea are incredible. I had a craving for this tea kind of late at night, and I brewed up a cup. I used more like 3 grams, but I did steep it for about 5 minutes. And I just had a small cup of this tea, kind of like a 8-ounce or a 6-ounce cup of the tea before going to bed. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to saying it was a mistake. I mean, I was still able to go to sleep, but it did take me a little bit longer. But the thing is that flavor and the way that it was calling to me in the night, I just could not resist brewing the tea. That's one of the things that you might find about this tea, is it's just so good you'll have trouble not making it for yourself. I did actually sleep pretty well that night when I brewed the tea. I will tell you that this is one of the best black teas I've had in years, and there are only 25 pounds available. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of tea, but once it's gone, it is gone. So don't sleep on this tea. Get it while it's around. Oh my gosh, there's some of that minty camphor notes coming off of that steep right there. I did get the chance to try it with milk. I'm telling you, it blew my mind. I usually drink black tea like this without milk for a little bit of a special decadent occasion, or if you like black tea with milk, this one is a good one. It is smooth, rich, and unforgettable.